If you lay a rock on the surface of the ground and go away for 2 years and come back, the rock will be gone. But if you dig down a little bit, it's there.
The oldest African-American bank in the nation is Citizens Bank in Nashville. Started at 1 cent savings bank.
My parents would actually let me cross Hillsborough Road when I was still in kindergarten because there wasn't much traffic. And the neighborhood grocer was out on the sidewalk greeting us as we came in and calling us by names.
Women who were often born and raised in Nashville, who early in their career, some of the best options they had were in the classroom, so they became teachers.
I think that the place that people are born over, the land that they're born over, comes up out of their mouth.
When I grew up, I knew what time it was because the windows would shake, and it was always right around time I needed to wake up in the morning.
The thing about history, and that's what we're talking about to me, is I don't think of history expanding. I think of history sinking down in the earth.
Guess you could say that I am afraid of the man I haven't been. Guess you may feel that I haven't been real, just hiding from everything but the way.
I have a friend who was born to be a musician, predestined, like composed his first orchestra inside his mother's womb.
Orchestra is a piece about my friend who watched his mother get beat as a child, but somehow he channeled all of that into music, and he found a passion in music.
And whenever we hung out, he would tell me these musical stories.
The particular day I was asked to write that song, I had just heard from a friend who had had a very bad day in the music business, undeservedly. It's hard to be authentic sometimes when I'm trying to put words in someone else's mouth.
Mom's car was ordered special and rode like a living room on wheels.
So the voice I wanted to use for that was pretty much from a higher perspective of the lesson learned in hindsight of what that car represented.
My father frequently boasted, "You won't see another one like this in Nashville." And he was right then and prophetically now.
I met Amira a few months before I was invited to be in the Spoken Word Census, and she's from Egypt, and her family has been in Nashville for a few months before I wrote the piece.
I need job. My boys not eat.
Back home, she was a teacher and doing all kinds of wonderful things, and here she's essentially become a beggar.
It's about the series of events that happened at my last job at a paper mill as a quality control engineer that just compelled me to quit and come up here against the wishes of family and to the astonishment of friends.
Honey, I shouted, we are moving to Nashville.
Somebody has been stealing my newspaper. If you were a black woman in the 50s and 60s living in Nashville, Tennessee, you had a community. There were plenty of places in North Nashville that were beautiful, wonderful streets, wonderful homes, wonderful neighbors, but there was often a circle of safety that you needed to stay within. So first I thought maybe it was some of those other old biddies around here taking my paper out the mail. So I went to the bulletin board and put up a big sign on orange paper. It said, "The New York Times newspaper is to be delivered to Dorothy Mildred Williams Stone." When faced with a situation where you realize that if you don't stand up, your daughters and your daughters' daughters and your sons sons will be subject to such a poor quality of life based on such a narrow conception of who they are,
this man, and his name was Poppy, was around his 50s. He's a veteran and his house had been completely submerged. There were 7 feet of water. The stories are so individual, but everyone kind of joined into the experience, and that was part of what brought me to being more a part of the community of Nashville.
Why wouldn't you write?
I write to find out who I am.
I write because it's something that I feel I've been put here to do.
I think I write because I've got a lot of time on my hands, and I don't like to do dishes, and I hate to mow the grass, hate it.
You know, if I wasn't a writer and I wasn't a musician, I have absolutely no idea what I would have done.
When you make something from your experience, real or imagined, you get to taste life twice. And you also live a more layered existence. I write to live.
I was born almost writing. I like the feel of a pencil in my hand.
My main reason for writing is to learn me, to learn my language and life.
I paint with words, basically.
I've had people placed in my life that influenced me and encouraged me and directed me through certain paths, and so I kind of want to be that for other people.
I write instead of screaming.
One thing I do is say never miss the opportunity to risk being great, and you know, if you're writing, there's always a chance that it's magic.
Would set me free. Guess you can't know if I never show. I've been
cosmopolitan,
flood,
incubating, diversity,
twang,
Southern,
green,
musical,
literary,
artistry,
polluted, populated, poetry,
wide-mouth bass,
rich rhythms.
Canadian Yankee finds home in South.
Absolutely the baddest town in Tennessee.
Is 20 years still passing through?
A haven for creative talent.
Holds me close, sets me free.
Nashville is an unfinished song.
I guess you can say I am afraid of the man I haven't been. I guess you may feel that I haven't been real, just hiding from everything but the way.
And I cried. I've never cried listening to a song. It wasn't like an outburst like someone just died, but it was definitely a heartfelt tear. And right after that, I went home and wrote about the song completely. How it took over my whole entire body, how I couldn't move, speak, open my mouth at all. And all I do is speak and open my mouth, you know? And as a musician, you don't really hear songs that make you shut up.
About how God sends us angels in our lives and how angels are around us all the time. And it was just really interesting. It was really cool to see his outlook and how we were all there helping him, but in the same way he was helping us, and we could all be kind of angels to each other.
Hey, we're the mashed potato people. We're like the Richard Dreyfuss character in Close Encounters of the Third Kind. You know, we just have to do it. You know, our families think we're crazy.
I grew up in East Nashville. We would walk along the streets and our feet used to beat against the pavement like drumsticks. And the cars would pace up and down the roads. They beat their horns to the tone of a saxophone and they would make music. People in the background at the barber shop, cutting hair, chattering over sports, connected to the corner store where they would sell beer, Afghani men hollering, put that candy back unless you're gonna pay for it. But in my head, it was all music. So once I got used to it, they got through with it, brought in those from the outside, pushed out those from the in to the outside, so when I step outside, I don't see what's inside my head anymore. That's all, off the top of my head.
Dream, art, Hank, chat, twang, honey.
That's great. Okay, that's perfect.
Gotta find the somebody's hero.